The picture, the picture for the front of this. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing is trying to research, but I'm barely able to speak most of the time. I knew some very wonderful people once. I'm gonna tell you about some really, 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 really good people. Matter of fact, most of this we'll just talk about some really, really, really good people. Um, let's start off with Amber Derry. Why bring her up? Because she is probably the naturally nicest person I know. She took to talking to me like I was a person from like the first day I met her. And I don't mean talking to me like a person as in we had conversations every day or anything like that. But she'd see me and she'd say hello. When I was walking down the halls, you can tell who looks at you. And she didn't go gawking or staring at me, but she noticed that I existed. Body language. But it wasn't her body language that got me to notice. What got me to notice that she existed was the fact that she was always nice to me. She didn't try to get up in my space. She didn't try to, like, engage me in awkward conversation, for the most part. And the only time I really ever talked to her was, like, actually had a conversation with her was about my little brother being a dick. Yeah, I knew my little brother was being a dick. My little brother was a horn dog and he was being mean. Now, if there's a personality type here, and I'm hoping you guys will get to understand this a little bit. There's some people that are mean to me and wanted to be manipulative. And fuck, my mom's Angela K. Bruns, motherfuckers. You guys got no idea what you fucking stepped into with this pile of shit. I am a giant steaming pile of shit. You're fucking right. If that's what it takes to protect people, if that's what it takes to make it so that other people don't have to endure what I got to, well, then fuck it, let's do this. I'll use my nasty words. I'll use my dirty words. Go ahead and wash my mouth out with soap. I'll say it again. I've had to be real mean. Real mean. Because people treat me like I'm a fucking retard. There's a lot of people who told me about their problems. A lot of people. And I tried to explain to those people I could go in with you. I could go in with you to turn it in. No, Sean, that won't work. That won't work. I already tried going in. It didn't work. Yeah, well, you didn't go in with me. The people who did go in with me were the ones who got the results. The ones who did go in with me. And a lot of them said, man, if somebody help me with this, somebody help me with this. I'm tired of living out here. I'm not like you motherfuckers. I hate it out here. I'm like, dude, you're exactly like them. They fucking hate it out here too. So here's where we come to humanitarians. When it comes to Amber Derry, I don't know shit about her. I know that her dad was nice to me. He took me around to a lot of different places in Nebraska to help me to get applications and fill them out and turn them in. I didn't get a job, but he did take a day out to do that. I probably shouldn't bring him up though, because this is about Amber, for the most part. When it comes to my little brother, and my annoyance with my little brother, and later my disgust with my little brother, it was over how he treated people. My little brother didn't grow up in the system. He grew up out here with you neurotypicals, being mean. Now, I always thought that people's personalities were what was important. And, there's a lot of people that had great personalities, but also not necessarily the best of motives. I don't know what Amber Derry's motives were. I think she just wanted to be nice and make me feel like I was still a person, even though I was a fucking creepy ass weirdo. Yeah, I know I'm fucking creepy looking. I know I got a big nose. I know I'm short for a dude. I know I make funny noises and I squeak sometimes when I talk. I do that nasal thing that grosses people out. Now, Kim Jeppson, she was my first friend that I ever knew I was gonna. She was the first friend I ever knew I was gonna get to keep, and that didn't happen. All right. Anyway, Kim Jeppson, we didn't talk. She was generally nice to me in school, and I'm glad she exists. She's a person who believes in forgiveness real heavy. And there's a lot of people, because they're fucking ignorant Nebraskans, they don't know any better. They seriously don't know any better. That's the most fucked the most fucked up part. If a bunch of people moved to Chapel, Nebraska all at once, this is KKK territory I'm talking about. The KKK would be forced to move out of Chapel, Nebraska. They can't remain or operate because, well, there just ain't enough of a population that hates anymore. There's a lot of assholes like me who got to pave the way. But that's not to say I didn't screw up or make mistakes. Sometimes when somebody had a rival, I was mean to them. Now with Kim Jeppson, I was never mean about her rival. That was Alyssa Derry. But this ain't about Alyssa. This is about Amber. And I'm going to say that a lot, just to make sure I bring it back to that headspace, to that way of thinking. When people are genuinely nice to you, and even when you freak out because somebody's bullying you or you're fucking scared shitless, like they'll come and talk to you. So, I believe in equality. I don't like it. But there's some times when people are really super fucking extra mean. And I gotta say something. And to me, it's the funniest thing in the world, but to the other person, it's fucking not. So Jamie Curtis, she had a crush on Amber Derry, but she was also real jealous of Amber Derry. And I got to hear a bit about that a time or two. And Jamie Curtis, she was born in Boulder, Colorado. I don't know where the Derry girls were born. I probably shouldn't call them the Derry girls. That's kind of like calling Natalie and Alicia the twins. But that's how I knew them to begin with. That's what everybody else called them, the twins. Now, the personality that Natalie Bollinger had is way super sweeter. Way super sweeter. Like super thick sweet. Super nice. Like, she was just the most wonderful person I ever met. At least personality wise. Like, she was magnetic. How anybody wouldn't fucking protect her at all points in time, I didn't understand. See, when I see those pretty girls that y'all get the crushes on, I don't get the crushes on them. No, I got a fucked up mom. I'm attracted to women who are like my mom. Of course I'm not fucking attracted to Amber Derry. She's fucking nice to me. She doesn't try to manipulate me or treat me like shit. Kim Jeppson didn't try to fucking manipulate me or treat me like shit. Are we really attracted to women like our moms when we're boys? Yes. Are we really attracted to men like our fathers when we're girls? Yes. Not all of us. Some of us grow out of it. Some of us know what's best for us. Some of us are still interested in the opposite gender and we settle. We go, you know what? Yeah, I'm attracted to women who are really fucked up in the head. But I also got to understand that that's personality-wise. The thing that I loved about Jamie was that she made me feel needed. And I'm going to tell you how untruthful a statement that is. She didn't make me feel needed. She made me feel useful. And that's what we all want. Even the people who want to be all about them and their wants and their selfishness. I had 2 big bullies in Chappell, Nebraska. And I had 2 big bullies in Lodgepole, Nebraska. My older brother, Eric, he created a bit of problems by going there before me. He grew up in the system, same as me. And Eric was a fucking dick. I'm not gonna pretend he was fucking nice. He was just a dick. But like me, he's sarcastic as fuck and kind of dry about it. Now, for me going to Chapel High School, after my brother had gotten kicked out of there and my sister had gotten taken out of there, that probably wasn't a whole lot of fun, I'm sure you can imagine. Now, I was sent to Lodgepole before I went to Chapel because everybody thought I was going to have worse problems in Chapel. No. I had problems with Shauna Talish and Dylan Bauer. And between the 2 of them, Shauna Talish was the bigger issue, but Dylan Bauer was the more physical. And it wasn't that those 2 were especially big bullies as far as bullies go in my life. It was that people fucking listened to them. My older brother said Shauna Talish had a baby face. He said everybody had a crush on her. She was probably the hottest chick there. He called everybody chick. So I get there and I didn't know who he was talking about. I had no clue. When I did finally find out who Sean Natalish was, it was part of the way through the semester, most of the way through the semester. And I was like, oh my God, that's Sean Natalish. Fuck. She's a bully. One of those, how dare you look in my direction at all kind of people. And Amber Derry was never like that. And Kim Jeppson was never like that. Jamie Curtis was never like that. But like my mom, Jamie Curtis is into drugs. She's into alcohol. She's into, well, promiscuity and manipulating men. I know all the fucking tricks that there are to manipulating men. My mom is a master of her craft. If she was a little bit prettier, she might have been able to manipulate her into some pretty powerful positions. Now, where the fuck is my lighter? Now, how is this about Amber Derry? None of this is about Amber Derry. It's the overall spectrum of the situation, and of course, how Amber Derry made it better, and how comparing people to others is fucking rude and inconsiderate. And I'm making this example by doing what it is that's wrong, as I often do. Well, verbally anyway. When it comes to the other stuff, Jesus fuck, I can't do that shit to another human being. Are you kidding me? Now, whenever Jamie would try to make me jealous using some boy, I'm like, all right, you know what? Here I am trying to be a friend. Okay, that's my goal as a dude, to be a friend. By that point in my life, I'd already completely given up on women. I wasn't interested in women. The fact that I had ever tried to date to begin with was based solely on the fact that everybody thought that I should. And of course, if you don't do what everybody else thinks that you should do when you're the retard, they bully you into doing it. So it's best to just let them roll you over. Now, Jamie, I always tried to get her to understand the point, and I did it in a wrong way. Now, Amber Derry, she was nice to me, and she talked to me, and one day when I was having a really exceptionally bad day, she pulled up next to me in the parking lot, and she spoke to me. This was years after high school. She spoke to me like I was a person, and of course, the same Amber Derry is always super sweet. And of course, I went my own way and she went her own way. It's not like she was macking on me or flirting with me or anything like that. But whenever Jamie Curtis tried to use one of these some boys to try to make me jealous, I didn't care. So when she'd start losing whatever argument she was beginning to have by talking over me, it was always the use another guy's kind of thing, this guy this and that guy that. And one of those days I couldn't help it. I blurted it out. I was like, you know what, Jamie? I had a chance with Amber Derry and I didn't took it because of you. Oh my God, dude, you just thought I fucking split a melon on her forehead. Yeah, I know it was a mean thing to say. I know that just because Jamie did that to me doesn't make it okay for me to do it to her. But it was just so, Like, it was literally funny to me that she was saying those things. Like, that's my motivation. If you stop to listen to a guy, he'll tell you what his motivations are. It's just when you talk over him or you start telling him about all these other guys or anything like that. Like, no, I don't need to hear about every guy in your life unless you do seriously need to be protected from them. But if you do need protected from them, then why are you surrounding yourself with them? Well, Jamie liked to manipulate people. Amber did not manipulate me at all. Now, that's something to be said here with Shauna Talish and with Amber Derry and with all of the people in my stories. Given time, everyone is capable of change. Given the right experiences, people are capable of love and understanding. I never in a million years thought or expected that Amber Derry would ever give me a chance, and she didn't. She didn't ever give me a chance, and I never tried to get one because it just wasn't something I thought about. The only thing that made me think about that is that, and I'm not saying that Jamie and Amber were both rivals against each other, just that for Jamie, that was I wish I was pretty like Amber Derry, you know. That was kind of her thing about it. I wish that people liked me like Amber Derry. And, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, if you're nice to people like Amber Derry, instead of being sweet, like thick sweet, just be nice. Just be nice. It's not difficult to be nice. If you're in a scary situation, you don't got to pretend to want to touch my whats. When it comes to guys and getting married, most guys just want somebody who's nice to them. When I say I probably had a crush on every girl that was ever nice to me, or every woman that was ever nice to me, it's because it's a way of expressing the fact that I cherish and enjoy the company of nice people, even if they're used car salesmen. I just can't listen to them fucking talk nonstop, especially when I know what they're doing. But sometimes, when you're somebody who isn't popular and good looking and has everybody chasing you for entertainment, I mean, that's one type of person. The other type is the ones who are your haunted wallflowers. Amber Derry was super nice. I don't mean super nice as in overly nice. I don't mean like she tried to go out of her way to bring me a pie every day for lunch. I don't mean that she waved at me every time she saw me. I don't mean that she even acknowledged my existence most of the time when we were walking through the halls. I just mean that she was nice, genuinely nice. I think she would have made a great nurse. I don't know what she ended up doing. If we're not really friends, like I don't really keep tabs on you and keep up with things and pay attention to what you're doing. Like I don't know what the fuck Alyssa Derry does. I know that because I had told a few stories about her that were pretty important as far as my life goes and my life's lessons. A lot of these people don't understand that when I had experiences with them, these were the first times I got to have experiences like that. Going from the system and a bunch of places that are full of minorities where I ended up being the minority in most of them, to Chapel, Nebraska. That place was culture shock, and there's people that helped me to get through it. Kimberly Jeppson definitely helped me through it. But also, when you don't understand, like, see, with Kim Jeppson, she's somebody she was my best friend at one point in time. And I know I always say, if I was going to get married, you better be my best friend. Like, that's not me saying that I'm okay with marriage, okay? Because I'm not. It's me saying, hey, if I'm going to be putting that kind of commitment in with you, not the boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife thing or anything like that, but an actual commitment, to a lifelong friendship. There's got to be no physical interest there. When Kim Jeppson got yanked out of her vehicle by Michael McBee, that's what me and Kim Jeppson's issue, and me and Zach Metcalf's issue, and me and a lot of other people's issue was over. A lot of those people ended up being dickheads. Some of them ended up being nice. But one person that I would never wish any harm upon is Amber Derry. The other thing is, she's not somebody that anybody's going to target, because she's never really been one of my friends, not like Kim Jeppson was. If I'd have heard that Amber Derry had gotten yanked out of the vehicle the way I'd heard the way that stuff had happened to Kim, like, that still razzles me to this day, thinking about somebody yanking Kim out of her vehicle by her hair. That's not okay. But I'd like to think that if it had happened to Amber, I'd have had probably the same reaction or something similar. My reaction was, I'm glad he's out of her life. I'm glad he's not here. I'm glad he's not going to try to hurt her anymore. I'm glad he lives in Colorado. I'm glad he's in Haxton, not Chapel. When he got back together with her, I was fucking scared shitless for her. I didn't want people telling me her personal business. It's her personal business. I don't want to hear who she's dating. I don't want to hear what he did. If she doesn't tell me, it's not my business. I'm sure she's got people she can go to for help. It's Kimberly Joe Jeppson, for Christ's sake. I couldn't imagine anybody leaving Kim Jeppson or Amber Derry or Alyssa Derry to the mercy of animals. I couldn't imagine anybody in their lives allowing people to hurt them. Now, I don't know much about Alyssa. I mean, she always just kind of came across as like a cheerleader to me. I know that's mean and inconsiderate, and it's stereotyping, but I tried out for cheerleading. She was also one of the smartest, I was about to say smartest girls in our class, but like, as far as the smartest kids in our class, because I got held back, I'd say Bridget Stegeman was probably the smartest. And then either Kim Jeppson or Alyssa Derry, I don't know which. Just kidding. I was at least as smart as all of them. The only person that beat me as far as intelligence goes, is probably Bridget Stegeman, but I still had a better test score average than she did because I took single tests. When they did open book tests, I just sat down with my piece of paper and wrote it down. When they did a group test, I just sat down by myself and wrote it down. I'm like, if they get it wrong, we all get stuck with that score. I'm not okay with that. Bridget Stegeman was definitely the smartest, then me, then Alyssa Derry and Kim Jeppson, not necessarily in that order. And then I'd say probably Andy Carlson. Like, that kid was, he's different for certain. But there's a lot of kids that I don't remember their names. And it's not their looks that made it so that they were not memorable. It's the fact that when you're pretty, people remember you. They just do. You have to have a magnificent personality as an ugly person to leave a positive impact on somebody like that. My little brother, the little fucking dweezil skeezer monster, he'd come home from school every day for probably 2-3 months, talking nonstop about Amber Derry, Amber Derry, Amber Derry, Amber Derry. When you guys want to get pissed off at me about talking about Natalie Bollinger, I'm talking about Natalie in a different way entirely. I'm talking about Natalie because of the situation that started out and how horrible it has been. Now, personality-wise, yeah, Natalie Bollinger is a lot more similar to my mom than any of these other women, other than Jamie Curtis, as far as I know anyway. But it's also not a being attracted to them physically thing. It's, they're manipulators, and I know it. That's the problem with when I know somebody's a manipulator, and I want to believe them. I really do, but I don't want to have a dating or any sort of interest like that in them. I guess we're all kind of attracted to people we feel sorry for in some way. And that sounds rude too, doesn't it? Like, oh, I'm not just a girl. I'm tough. I'm powerful. Well, good. I still recommend pepper spray and a taser. Now, you guys who didn't know me in my youth, I don't give a shit. You can have your opinions for today. I know the person that I choose to be today. And I know that I can barely hold my shit together. And I know that none of the stuff that happened here is Amber Derry's fault. Just like none of the stuff that happened here is Alyssa Derry's fault or Caroline Coffey's fault. They didn't have anything to do with the situation. Yes, they all know a lot of the people that I have spoken about in my stories, but they didn't have anything to do with the situation. I didn't go to Amber Derry when all of this shit was going down because we weren't friends. We just know each other, you know? She was a lot younger than me. She was in my little brother's class. And of course, all through high school, I got to hear from everybody, man, she's a looker. And you're going, man, you're 46 years old. Motherfuckers. There's a lot of times in my life that people wanted to pretend that sex would make it better. And my experiences were not good before I became an adult, and they were not my choices. It was not wanted. Now I'm here in Tillamook. This is racist redneck central. I know exactly what to expect here. The problem is that I have to know to expect it. Just like going back to Chappell, Nebraska, I know that there isn't always going to be somebody like Amber Derry to put some sense of balance to stupid people. Like if I'm not interested in you, that doesn't mean you have to fall in love with me or pretend that you're in love with me or desire or crave my attention. I have to be afraid to tell women that I'm not attracted to them, because then, even if they're not attracted to me, with many of them it becomes a challenge or a game or a competition, and it doesn't need to be. Two people can just know each other. When you extend yourself out there to be friends with someone, you are extending out a social contract. It is rude and inconsiderate of me to bring up somebody like Amber Derry, who I entered into no such social contract with. In short, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. She didn't do it. But there's a lot of other people that, no matter what happens, I always care about them. Now, as far as the type of women that I'm actually attracted to, like, none of them is it ever sexual. But the ones that I think to myself, you know what? If I was going to be with somebody just because they're fun, well, that would be personalities like Jessica Martindale. That would be personalities like Caroline Coffey. That would be personalities like Nicole Jarrell. They're just fun to be around. Caroline Coffey was fucking direct. I mean, oh my God, you have no idea how attractive that is on a human being. When you're autistic, something bugs them, they can say it and then it's over. No problem. Jessica Martindale, yeah, I heard her have arguments with her sisters. Caroline probably had arguments similar. I got siblings. And although Amber Derry, as far as most of the people that I know are concerned, and most of the people that I have had speak to me about her, which, yeah, I'll have no idea how creepy that is. I don't even know the lady, and people want to tell me about the lowdown on people they were in love with fucking 20 goddamn years ago. Cute. Oh my God, Amber Derry's old. I didn't mean that. I fucking did not mean that. I shouldn't have said that because the last time I saw Amber Derry was in Chappell, Nebraska, when she pulled up in that. I want to say it was a. I know it was a silver car, but she pulled up in the parking lot at Chapel High School and she talked to me for a few minutes, and then I went back to Jamie's. That was forever ago. Natalie Bollinger, she had the most wonderful personality out of everyone I've ever known. She had the most wonderful personality in person. Like, it's just, when she listened, she actually listened. And when she was having her own problems, you see how that was. Like, it was back and forth. Yeah, both of us got some fucked up shit going on. Both of us got some fucked up families. I never bothered to find out what kind of family life the Derry girls had. I never bothered to ask him if it was good or bad. I was pretty good at spotting signals of abuse when I was younger, too. And they never showed any outward anything to me, but that's the thing, is that I didn't hang out with either one of them. I did hang out with Kim Jeppson once in a great while, and her family. I did hang out with Jamie Curtis. I mean, she went out with Chris Stegman for a while there, and she often came to work with us when when we went to clean Cabela's. It takes a lot of different people to make the world go round. When you remove lust from your vocabulary, the world becomes a different place. And who people really are does make a difference. There are people that I just. Jamie Curtis, the most horrible thing that she could have done to me, when she realized that. Uh, when she realized that throwing other dudes in my face just wasn't gonna do what she thought it was gonna do. Like, it just fucking confused me. I was trying to figure out, what are you trying to communicate here? I don't get it. Your stuff doesn't make sense to me because your words ain't matching your actions. My words matched my actions. But then I had to change and I had to adapt. I grew up in the fucking shithole of the system. So, I mean, I know a thing or two about surviving. I know a thing or two about your psychology, your selfish wants, or your non-selfish wants. Some of y'all got real good motivations. Some of y'all just never crossed my mind what your motivations might be for anything, because I don't know anything you do. Alright. I'm just going to continue to There it is. Keep misplacing my ladder. My phone's probably gonna die in a second. And of course, living in a parking lot in Tillamook, Oregon, things ain't exactly nice. And I know my descriptions in this video don't really explain things. Nice does not always mean good. Matter of fact, most of the time, nice does not mean good. But genuinely nice, genuinely kind, those are good things, good traits. Those are traits that can make you or break you, though. You'll either run into somebody who absolutely loves you for it, or you'll run into somebody who will absolutely exploit you for it. When it comes to the meanness of the world, Amber did not contribute any of that to me. When it comes to the cruelty of the world or people's assumptions or stupidity, Amber did not contribute any of that to me. Her communication is direct. At least with me. Direct and pleasant. Always pleasant. But I also know that it's not always easy to keep that face on there, you know? It's not always easy to pretend to be happy all the time, no matter what. And for me, having to pretend to be happy no matter what, or I would be harmed again and again and again. That's something I don't want for anybody. I do wish that people like Kim Jeppson and Amber Derry and I think Jamie Curtis should have a say-so too. I think the police should get a hold of Amber Derry and Caroline Coffey. And you guys put me wherever those two think would be a safe place for me, because I don't think they would make decisions that would hurt me, and I don't think they would make decisions that would hurt other people. Caroline never took advantage of me. She was always very direct and very nice. I think Caroline Coffey is very capable of making decisions for where I should go and where I should be. And I think Amber Derry is perfectly capable and reasonable as well. As far as Caroline Coffey goes, she's not somebody I should have asked out. Because ever since I was a little kid, I thought gross when I thought about sex. It's not that anybody's unattractive. There's some people that just, because I rejected them, they didn't understand it, and We're angry. I'm not trying to reject you. I just don't have any interest in any sort of... It's not swapping to me. You got mucus and stuff comes out of that. Men and women's parts. It's just gross. I don't want to kiss anybody. That's gross. I just want two St. Bernards and a Yorkie for my feet. And in the summertime, I'll wash the Yorkie and use it for a pillow. And a safe place for the happy four of us. Where we're locked away. Where nobody can ever pretend to be afraid of us ever again. I'm different, I know. My brain doesn't work right according to you guys. No, I just have different motivations. I have different preferences. I don't want to be touched. I can take care of my maintenance myself. I don't need anybody else for that. As far as it being maintenance, that's exactly what it is. It's the only reason that I'm able to think better than you peoples. I'm not always stuck thinking about that. When it comes to advertisement that uses sex, I don't look at it from a getting a horny point of view like you guys do. I shouldn't say you guys, because it's ladies that do it as well. That's why they use it in ladies advertising as well. Advertising statistics. Those are important. An important learning tool. There's a lot of people that I think should be involved in deciding what to do with me. Wherever they put me, they need to put me there for the rest of my life so that people can't use me as a boogeyman. Every one of these people who are pissed off at me, every one of them are going to die someday. Every one of them. And that hurts me to the core. It all hurts, but it also hurts that every time one of these people disappears even, I have to deal with the consequences, and I have to start being afraid for my family even more. I've had to do desperate things to try to get help because people wanted to look the other way. I can't turn off my disabilities for you people, and you are irrational for believing that I should have to. Would you expect Jeff Baldridge to get up out of his wheelchair and magically walk up the stairs into the courthouse? I get that you can see his disabilities. Our disabilities are different. But because you can see his disabilities, you have a direct understanding of the stairs. You're not going to make stupid suggestions, or you're less likely to. The best thing you can do if Jeff's got court, go grab a couple of sturdy individuals and get a hold of the side of his wheelchair and carry him up there, just like they did at Rory Jeppson's funeral. Sometimes we all need a little help. All of us. Some of us are more vulnerable to abuse. I think if I was to leave it up to one person, though, that I really don't know, but I know is a positive decision maker as far as her interaction with me, an intelligent decision maker as far as her interaction with me, I think that would be Amber Derry. As far as people that I think, if they're really going to take input of a lot of people, I think they should take Miss Jerry's opinion and Miss Lana's opinion and Rose M. Kelly's opinion. I think they should take all of my predators' opinions, because all of my predators' opinions at least puts me somewhere where nobody is going to hurt my little sister if something happens to one of these idiots. Every one of these people are going to die. Every one of them. Some of them will die of old age. Some of them will die of loneliness. Some of them will drink themselves to death or overdose on fentanyl. Some of them might get murdered, like Natalie did. The thing is, when it happens to a male, you expect us to just ignore it. You throw us away and tell us not to be negative. Now look at Shea Burton. I remember who Shea Burton was back in the day when she was with Theo. I also knew exactly what kind of reaction I would get out of her when I was a dick to her. I gave her exactly the kind of traumatic friggin' words that I could get exactly the reaction out of her that my bullies get out of me. Ask Shea Burton how much she liked it. I bet she didn't. I'm also not going to ask Amber Derry to be my guardian. I think that duty should be the sole responsibility of Alicia Bollinger. If she doesn't want the job, then Rose M. Kelly should fucking do it. You want to keep your family's fucking secrets and everybody else's fucking secrets? Well, I'm not going to keep their secrets. If you want their secrets, then you help to get my evidence into your hands. You work with me to get the passwords, and you fucking do something with it. Just leave me the fuck out of it from here on in. Help them to fucking put me somewhere. I never wanted to be a part of your family. I didn't want my best friend to blow her fucking head off. Or drive off a fucking cliff. Or drive into a fucking telephone pole. I just didn't want her family driving my best friend into the fucking ground, and that's exactly what they did. But they didn't just do it to her. They did it to me too. Why do I go to women for help more often than men? Because, well, more often than not, a woman will at least pretend to, and that's hope. Whereas most of the time, a guy will just talk over you. You should know better. You shouldn't have been there. You just need to man up. It's nobody's fault but your own. You chose it, and so on when you're abused. Unfortunately, women's reaction, what they're taught to do, isn't much better. Nowadays, we do have kind of a We're destroying the gender role as far as that goes, to some degree. There's also a lot of stuff that I say that is really important. I do choose my words wisely. When I'm having a severe panic attack, I got basically a few different topics that are really eating me up inside, and I blurt out all of those topics all at once. It's just verbal diarrhea, and it's difficult to discern or get anything discernible from it. In order for me to be able to speak, I gotta have someone I trust. But it's not their responsibility. There's supposed to be a caseworker. When I'm harmed, I'm supposed to be able to go to that caseworker. I'm not scared of everybody for no reason. I grew up getting raped and beaten. A lot of people don't understand why Chappell, Nebraska was a shittier place than the system I grew up in when I got beaten up a bunch in the system. Well, it's because ignorant ass goddamn rednecks never give up. If you get smacked around enough by the black kids at a black school and you take it, you'll at least get respect of a few of the people smacking you around, and they'll say, all right, don't mess with that white kid. The one good thing about the system is there's always somebody there to save you, or nearly always. The one bad thing about the system is they never let it finish. Sometimes, like with Tim up in Washington State Child Study and Treatment Center, if they'd have just let me and Tim fight it out and finish the fucking fight, it would have been over with. It was never over in Tim's mind until he got me to say I fucking quit. And he never got me to do that. Someone calling themselves Sean LMAL typed, not sure how I got here. Hey, we got the same name. Well, maybe the same first name. Anyway, when it comes to the treatment of the mentally ill in the United States, we need to stop using the term mentally ill. It's killing people. It's killing a lot of people. I'm not sure if any of y'all are actually paying attention to the suicide rate right now, but it's astronomical. It's through the roof. There's also the fact that a autistic person in a state of crisis, well, you see how I break the molds on when it comes to what a man's allowed to do when he speaks out. You get to see from my predators how I choose their tactics and antics, and I adapt them in a way that is more suitable to my needs. If people are threatening my life and my sister's life and my family's life, I try to point it in the direction of fuck you all for doing that and leave my family the fuck alone, leave my friends the fuck alone. Of course, they don't defend me that way, do they? No, the mentally ill guy must be the wrong in every situation. The problem is that autism is not mental retardation. If I get punched in the face, I know I got punched in the face. If I were to punch somebody else in the face, I would know that I had punched somebody else in the face. I just hate hitting people, and I hate getting hit. When people talk about doing mean stuff to others, I guess the idea behind that game or whatever it's called, I mean, that's basically what it is. This fantasy game, your whole scenario. What if this happened? What if that happened? Well, some of those people are fucking sick and they just think about torturing. And it doesn't register to them that when they're saying that, I'm not thinking about doing that to my worst enemy. I'm thinking about if it was to happen to me. So as far as torture goes, Chris Stegeman basically knows the stuff that I'm afraid of the most. He could have done a lot of damage with that information. Not to me, though. Anyway, there's a lot of people that should be involved. And the people I picked are based off of either personality or how closely they know me. Jerry Sparks, well, that I tried to report to her. She didn't understand how important that was to me. Not just for me to not be in an unsafe situation, but also for those kids to not be in an unsafe situation. On the bright side, Miss Jerry did work together to try to get me out of there. Like I said, a lot of people did a lot of things for me. But the two things that I needed the most, look at evidence and help me turn it in, those were being completely ignored everywhere. My charger is running pretty low. Happy Sunday. Obviously, I'm not the happiest camper in the world. I do want to make sure that I want to make sure that I say thank you to Caroline Coffee for giving me just a few minutes of sanity so many years ago. I want to say thank you to Amber Derry for giving me a few minutes of sanity so many years ago. And if Natalie were here, I'd tell her thank you too for the few minutes of sanity. Even though if it was only a few minutes, at least it was better than people talking over my trauma. Because I'm a man and I'm expected to take it no matter what's wrong. And just so you know, I was really never a good fighter. I can take a lot of punishment, but I didn't win fights or lose fights because of skill. I won fights or lost fights based on whether or not they broke their fist on my forehead in the first couple swings. Or if I was in Chappell, Nebraska, oh my God, I was lucky there. There was nobody there who knew how to fight. Like all these people that are bigger than me. It's not like in the system where they grew up in the fucking projects and they got a fucking. It's different in Chappell, Nebraska. It's a bunch of big, dumb, corn fed Nebraskans. I mean, what do you expect? Very few good things come from Nebraska. We got lucky though. Malcolm X was born there and he made a lot of change in the world, thank goodness. I was born there too, on the other end of the state. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's too. And no victim left behind. Not even if they're autistic. Not even if you're mad at them. Not even if you didn't get what you wanted last Christmas or last week. No victim left behind. Not even if their slander got you hurt and they ended up dead. Not even then. No victim left behind. Put me somewhere. Peace out.